who's very interested in the Muslim faith, but she is of the Christian faith. And I think that I've already sent her the book. Like I already bought it and sent it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
That's going to be great. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. John, are we ready? Give us thumbs up when you are. So meanwhile, why don't you come forward? Because it seems to me you are so far. And because we are a small group, so it will be easy for you even to see the screen as well. Okay. Until John give us a... Yeah. Are we? Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Well, thank you very much once again for this morning, Reverend Judy and the whole council and the mission committee of the Northampton Presbyterian. So we met through our social media connection, which is through the Happy to Be Presbyterian page. And that's where I think Reverend Judy posted that they have choir robes to give away. And so we have, I'm a pastor, church planter for the Indian Pakistani diaspora in Southern California. So we have 30 to 40 families now. And I started that congregation when I was a PhD student at Fuller for my doctorate in world missions. Meanwhile, so we have also ministry in Pakistan as well, and which is now I'm going to share with you what is God doing in Pakistan through our ministry and how that started. Before going to that, this is a small piece which I composed. So my initial ministry is I'm an artist, I'm a songwriter, composer, and my albums which publish in Pakistan mostly is resources for worship renewal and study. So my Sunday school song which I compose. So these are very popular. Those who doesn't know, if you search on a Sunday school song in Urdu, very popular, one of them is more than, I think, I don't know how many Ks. It crossed millions, which is a story of a parable, seed sower, then the creation story, and all these which I compose. So this is another song which I composed a few years ago, which is based on Lord's Prayer, and it's an Advent lament. I gave it the title, the Advent Lament. So how's that go? And you can sing it easily. The Urdu first line is, "Ae Khuda, teri baadshaahi aaye." And its English means, "O Lord, may your kingdom come." Ae Khuda, teri baadshaahi aaye. Ae Khuda, teri baadshaahi aaye. Now in English, "O Lord, may your kingdom come. O Lord, may your kingdom come. May your kingdom come. May your will be done on earth as in heaven. O Lord, may your kingdom come." Everybody. "O Lord, may your kingdom come." Once again. "O Lord, may your kingdom come." Everybody knows, those who are engaged in Pakistan or see the world news and the persecution, Pakistan from last 2 decades is on the first top 10 Open Doors watch list, which means that Pakistan is the most persecuted country for Christians because of their faith. And August 16 last year, there was a brutal attack on churches in Jarawala. Can we raise the voice a little bit? Okay. So, surprisingly, in last year, because I go every year Pakistan because of our ministry, which I'm going to share, it's a school of church music and worship. And so I spring and fall semester. So I teach there through hybrid online program, and then we have in-person classes. So I will share what's happening right now. But anyway, so in March last year, we were in the same area, and we preached in the same church which has been burned and attacked on August 16. So last year in March, we were in that community, and then August, that same area attacked by the extremist. Can we play that, John? So they are singing that the church has been burned and the crosses have been broken, and this is done to us by our neighbors because the extremist mobs, they attack. And this is a common practice. If you go on Google or online, and if you say the persecution in Pakistan, you will find out the whole onward from 93 till today, and we don't know until how long it will. Just like a psalmist says, how long, O Lord, how long? Psalm 13. But this is the part of the man. But the interesting part is that always one part of the extremist society, they attack on a church. On the other side, the moderate or the friends also come and console. So this is the part of the community, we know that. Not only, there was an international response by a Christian community living in England, living in America, living in the part of the world, and they protested in front of Pakistan consulates in various parts, and this is one of them. This is in England. They are singing Psalm 62. This is again a Punjabi very popular psalm, a cry to the Lord. Not only that, in Pakistan, another Muslim singing group, which are Shiites. If you know the Muslim community, they are Sunnis and Shiites. And Shiites are more open and are more close to the Christians because in a Shiite history, they believe that Christians, monks in Syria, they cover and they protect the women of the Muhammad's family when they were attacked by the other Muslim groups at the time of the massacre of Prophet's family. So that's why Shiites have a different, then they lament also. So the group of Shiite singers, of lamenters, they came to a local church in another part of Pakistan, and they were consoling by coming to a church, to a Christian community, while singing that the integrity of Mary in the form of the church burning, and they were saying the integrity of the Mary has been maligned at the streets, and how they are singing. So you can see that the group of Muslim lamenters, they came to in a local church and showing their solidarity. in response to a church attack in another area. So that's, you can see that the connection, the shared heritage of creative art, whether it's a religious singing, whether it's a lament, whether it's a psalms, whether it's any kind of a shared heritage, it is also a part of the social and religious fabric in Pakistan. And the only matter is how and when we connect through these shared heritage and a shared creativity. And this is one of our ministry in Pakistan. So you can see that in Pakistan and India, I mentioned earlier, especially now because I'm a pastor of an Indian community, also Indian Pakistani church in Southern California. So in these days, because of the government and because the prime minister, who is a more kind of a Hindu radical, using a religious card for his government, prime minister, Indian prime minister, there are various attacks on Christian in India also. On the other side, God's Spirit is moving powerfully among the Punjabi Sikh, those who know Sikh, turban people with a beard. In the meanwhile, God's Spirit is moving powerfully through another movement in the Punjab side. India is so big. So the north part of the India, which is now Punjab also, there is another movement emerging. And I have been a couple of invitations to visit India now to preach and to share. We will see when God in a due time, and depends on our resources. But I'm definitely planning to visit India because of our congregation and the invitation I'm receiving repeatedly. So you can see that Pakistan geographically located in a very sensitive area. All major players, whether in Afghanistan, whether China, whether Iran and India, Pakistan is a center stage of that geopolitical area, and that's why the role of the church and the role of the mission in that area is very critical and important, especially in the 21st century. So what is the significance? I will show you a few more stats to you, but that's very important to understand. In my understanding, as a missiologist and as a student of a mission and a worship, when I present paper or when I write my articles publishing, one statement which I mostly give is the future of global mission is 3D, 3 capital Ds. Number one is diasporic. And we see through the stats that around the world, more than 1 million people move every year around the world. So if the church is not ready to engage diaspora, even you can see in the New Jersey, in the Pennsylvania and the New York, what is the masses are coming to our seashores. That's number one. So it's diasporic. Number two, it's doxological. Doxological means our worship practices will attract other people. If our worship practices are not designed for a missional purposes, our worship will be reduced. The churches will be empty, and there will be no more people in the big sanctuaries. So that's very important. We should raise a level of our doxology. And number three is digital. So if we are engaging our churches and if we are not using digital media, more than every year stat is saying there are more than 2 billion people every year or every day they use digital media and they are behind the screens. Such a huge population, they are on a digital spaces and the platforms. Is church ready to engage with them through our resources which God has given? So that's why, as I mentioned, the future of global mission is doxological, diasporic, and digital. So how does the local creative approach help Christian identity in the Islamic Pakistan? That is where my work is coming. What is the role of music in hostile and hopeless contexts anywhere around the world? Wherever there is a chaos and crisis, music can play a role. How does music reconcile in chaotic and conflicted context? Whether it's the borders in the Mexico or the Dallas, or whether it's inside the communities, these are the various questions. So Tehillim Pakistan, which I'm going to share with you, and missional practices by Christian biblical worship in the scriptures helping us to navigate our future engagement in the world mission. So first of all, because I will share my context that is applicable to any cultural context. So number one, locating the local, that is Sur Sangeet. It means that how we engage through our Sur is a note, and Sangeet is a fellowship, and then how locating the local. So Arabic word which is ibadat we use in the Urdu translation, the namaz in Persian, prayer of the artist is his Sangeet. That's a Sanskrit actually. Together in the sound of the bells of mandir, which is a Hindu temple. Mandir means Hindu temple. in a mandir, and the voice of muazzin, Islamic prayer call, when they call 5-time muazzin, has one commonality, and that is Sangeet. This is a dialogue from an Indian movie, My Face, Your Eyes, 1963. So you can see that Indian subcontinent and the religious, the plurality of that culture is so powerful. Even the Punjabi Psalter, which I was singing with you, and the book of Psalm, which published and established 1908, all 150 Psalms, that Punjabi Psalter is a product of an interfaith collaboration. How come? I have mentioned in my book also, I'll show you, but I'm just telling you. You know that. You need to read that book also for some history. However, how come? 1890, when the PCUSA, UP mission started to realize that India, they cannot bring Western hymnology or the Western hymns, because the Indian musicology, local ragas, local music system is so deep, more than 5,000 years old, so they cannot bring and conquer that land with Western hymns, just like they did in Africa and the East Asia and everywhere else. So what to do? They said, okay, we need to go and find out what's in local. So they find out, and that's what's happened. Muslim convert, Imam-Din Shahbaz, he translated as a poet, he translated all 150 pieces into lyrical poetry. At that time, there was not any Christian artist or singer converted, 1890s. So they hired a Hindu musician, his name was Radha Kishan. He composed these melodic structures. So you can see Muslim convert, poetry, Hindu musician, melodic structure, and a Western white American missionary committee, Christians, they collaborated, and that's how the 150 Psalms Punjabi Psalter comes out. So today, world or the churches are talking about interfaith, which our context did already a century ago. So how to do this work? So that's why this is a hybridity of religious music in India and in Pakistan. Every religion, whether it's a Hindu or a Buddhist or a chant or a Sikh Qurbani or the Muslim canonical, non-canonical state, everybody has a one thing common, which is chanting and a religious, lyrical, musical repertoire. So that's why the traditional mission, which was education and hospitals, that was the approach under the British colonial era, which is not going to applicable now, because they already in the majority world, they have established these social reforms and their social approaches. So that's why the Christian church living as a minority in a majority culture, they need to find out how to decolonize and how to re-establish and recreate their own local system to engage for a Christian message. So that's why. So the Indic music culture, I'm not going that ethnomusicological piece. You don't need that one until you are a musician. And in an Indic musicology, this is a Navrasa theory. This is another theory, by the way, that in Indian artistic expression, there are 9 moods and modes in a music or art or dance, and this is a whole list. And the last one which they added is a piece, Shalom. Otherwise, you can read how many there are. There's a English, in the middle of English translation, there's a sadness or pathos, heroism, valor, laughter, comedy, anger, fear, disgust, surprise, comfort, peace, adornment, and beauty. These are the 9 saps, 9 modes in Indic musicology. So we, as a part of the mission, well, this is all in my book, by the way. So I'm just going what we are doing. So almost 20 years ago, when God called me through vision and dream. So I was 18, 19 years old, and I was searching, okay, why God is calling me. So it took me 3 years to realize God is calling me a full-time ministry as an artist and a musician. So we have our 140 years old Presbyterian seminary, which we called Gujranwala Theological Seminary. So from Karachi, from the south, from a mega city, boy, I went to a rural small area just to find out why God is calling me. And that's where God has given me a vision to start Pakistan's first time ever School of Church Music and Worship, without knowing what's happening around the world, because that was a time before social media platform. There was no YouTube channel at that time. There was no social media, no Facebook, Insta, nothing was there. And I was just under the burden and the calling that God is calling me. And the rest is story. I will share with you what was the main motivation. You can see there. The church was singing theologically lightweight song or flawed songs. Worship leaders and musicians were untrained and biblically illiterate. Literary material on worship and music was non-existent. Like my MDiv thesis, published as the first ever Urdu language book on worship and music studies in 2002. There was no center for training and worship and church music education. Church bodies, including theological seminaries, were not involved in guidance and encouragement in the field of worship and music studies. Why? Because the curricula of the theological seminaries are highly influenced under the Western mission, under the colonial era. So that's why they don't have local. Whatever you are teaching in the Western context, they copy-pasted over there. As one of my colleagues here at OMS, she said that the curricula still in the third world, the theological curricula is a dead white man burden. Those people who have died in 70s, 80s, 90s, still that curricula is influencing the leaders over there. So by the way, last year, we celebrated our 20th anniversary. So you can believe that. And I can't believe that. After 20 years, how far God has brought us and what we achieved, that is not possible only with a human effort until there is a divine guidance and a partnership. So we celebrated our 20 years with our global partners. So what is our local impact? So you have seen there was nothing existing. The list of the book, there are 5 books published by myself, and there are 4 books we translated in worship music studies. 2 books are still under process, which are going to publish as in Urdu language as a source and a textbook for our programs. Currently, you can see these. We have almost 170 students enrolled in across the Pakistan in hybrid program. Next March, I'm going Pakistan again, and we are graduating our 70 students who finished their 5 months online certificate in worship leadership program. And then we have in-person 3 centers. 2 more centers are waiting to start, one in Peshawar near the Afghanistan border, one in South Multan, and one near Faisalabad. This is the south of the Punjab. So still, and we have our head office in Karachi, which is a training and resource center. So you can see that this is all happening, and local impact, not only local impact, we have global impact of. Moreover that, God opened door for me to engage with the Sufi shrines, if you know the Sufism and the mystical side of Islam, that has never been reached out by a local church. There are various reasons. We live in a fear. We live as a minority. We live under the blasphemy laws, so people fear. But I, in my own experience of my 25 years of full-time ministry, I have never seen that anybody has accused because you are sharing gospel, or you are talking and dialoguing with any Muslim scholar or with any Muslim cleric. There are various other reasons churches or the community has been attacked. However, this is the moment when we reach to thousands of Muslims by singing psalms at the Sufi shrines of their festival, not our festival. And there's an interesting story when I plan to engage with the Sufis and when we plan, because generally we have a Western model, like you print tracts and books or something, you go over there, distribute. If you caught up, ran away, because they will beat you, because you are using back door. You are not getting permission. You are not going from a front door. So when I started working with them, I prayed and I said to God, I'm not going from back door. I'm not using a Western model which somebody else told us. I'm going to use our local system and our local doors. So we made connections through the mediators and everything. Can you believe that? How they receive us? I was wearing my collar, my clergy collar. Our whole team was with us, everybody, and it will surprise you. The leader of the Sufi shrine, what he said to me, he said, this shrine, it's an interior Sindh, we call Shah Latif Bhitshah in interior Sindh, one of the very huge shrine. He told me, he said that we are here from last 360 years. And this is the first time that any Christian delegate visited us. And we receive you by welcome. What do you have to share with us? Can you believe that? How God's spirits work? And still we have very good friendship with all these Sufi shrines. So, and then we have a global partnership with the Calvin Institute of Christian Worship, where you get this, and then a global consultation on music and missions, and now we have a global partner, Worship Quest, and they all visited Pakistan. And even next month, there are 8 Americans, 2 from Tennessee, 4 from Southern California, and even in November, there are 4 more are going, 1 from North Carolina and 1 from Dallas, Texas. They are going with me. So every year I recruit teachers, musicians, artists, those who have a heart for a mission. They go with us and they teach on seminars and conferences and engaging with our students, and they are encouraging and participating with our students and our local partners in Pakistan. Not only that one, you can see that when I came here to finish my PhD at Fuller, meanwhile, once a church planter, always a church planter. So when I came there, I find out where is any local community in Pasadena and Southern California, Urdu, Hindi, Punjabi speaking, and I found none. One of my CRC folks in Grand Rapids, Michigan, they told me there's a small area which they call Little India Village. And there are a few families, if you like, we can connect you one. And they connected me with the one family. We started as a house church with 3 people without a car, because I was living by myself. My family was still in Pakistan in 2015. And the guy who was coming and driving almost 35 miles every day, every Sunday, take me and drop me back. But that was God's plan. Today, that church, within 9 years, that church is one of the largest Indian Pakistani community. And they are wearing your robes right now. Out of that church, during COVID, few families moved to the Central California, Fresno and Bakersfield. And that's where, again, church has started already. And when I was there last week for my monthly visit, there are 3 new, 1 Hindu and 3 Sikh converted families contacted us. So people are coming. That's the whole things what God is doing. And the digital media, by the way, the left picture, dedication, you can see that all our Presbyterian Executive Committee, because I'm an official overseas liaison for the Presbyterian Church of Pakistan also. So I raise funds for the churches that burned. You remember I showed you the video? So just 2 months ago, we provided, because the government restored the building, but not the worship articles. So that's what we provided, the pulpit, the music instrument, sound system, Holy Communion vessels, and all these to the churches over there. And by God's grace, you can see they are dedicating all these in that picture. So digital media, so we are very active on digital media. That's how we connected. And you can see that one of my lecture, which is only a small clip of my 20-minute lecture, 2-minute video. Yesterday, one of my Indian friends sent me and said, hey, your video is viraling, and you can see that 39K views within 2 weeks, and it's increasing every day. I don't know how long that will get, how God will use that small less than 2 minutes clip on a digital space. I was telling my brother, he's from Manchester. Last year, I was in Oxford presenting a paper, and then I visited Manchester. And out of that clip, I have been contacted by the radio station in Glasgow, and they told me that they want to have me because there's a lots of Hindus and Sikhs and Muslims living in that area, and they want to reach them through the radio ministry. So this is what's happening now. Why becoming a partner with us? What unique we are doing, and why now? These stats will help you to understand. Number 1, the recent philological survey in a top 10 world languages, you can see which one is on number 2. Urdu and Hindi. Number 8. Number 10. Punjabi. So you can see that why this is happening, because India has the world's biggest not only diaspora, but also now India is the world's highly populated country, surpassed China. That's why you find Urdu, Hindi, Punjabi person everywhere you go, anywhere you go. So that's why this is the time when the church should be ready and prepared to reach out this vast population around the world. And God has raised and connected a people, a servant like me around the world, those who are engaging and helping these people. So, most important thing, do you ever heard word Spotify? Spotify? You know Spotify, okay? It will surprise you. The Spotify, the top 5 most highly watched and listened songs are not English. Punjabi. They are Punjabis, rappers, Punjabi rappers. Even they started master classes, master school in India. They know, the commercial world know the power of the media and the creativity to engage. The church need to wake up from a holy slumber, actually. The future engagement. Why the Muslim world, not only Hindus and the Indians and the other part, why the Muslim world? The future engagement, according to world global stats by the School of the World Mission, even in the Gordon Conwell, the chair of the World Christianity, they are believing until 50s and 60s, Muslim population will surpass Christians population. Within the next 20 years, we have only 25, 20 years, only one generation away. Are we ready? That's a major challenge. You can see that babies born in Muslim will begin to outnumber Christian births by 2035, only 10 years away. So, Muslims are projected by the world's fastest growing major religious group. In 2016, 30% of all babies born were to Muslims compared to only 24% of global adherents. And then, while Christian births accounted for 33%, slightly greater than Christian share of population, 31% age, Christians are relatively much older and experience for greater deaths, while Muslim populations globally are relatively younger and have high fertility rates. This is alarming, by the way, and challenging. I don't have fatwa, otherwise I would offer something else to the growth of the population compared to Muslims. That's cultural thing, actually. You will not understand that. But among the religiously unaffiliated, 16% birth rates are only 10% of newborns. Hence, this group is projected to decline. You can see that they are coming, not by conquering, but by population-wise. So, why we need to be a part of that movement, to reaching out not only at local ground, but also in a global context. So we need to pray, first of all, for the local church in the homeland, because there, what we need in India, whether in Punjab, in Pakistan, whether in the Middle East, whether in the wherever they are. Number one is social discrimination, institutional and employment discrimination, legal discrimination, suppression of free speech, suppression of corporate worship, burning of churches, kidnapping, forced marriages, forced conversion, destruction of property, displacement from homes by tongue and tyranny, threats, imprisonments, torture, murder. These are happening to Christians in the local churches, wherever they are in a minority. So first of all, we need to pray, and then we need to partner with them. So prayer points, I would like to encourage you to pray for the mission and ministry in Pakistan and diaspora. Number two, next month, as I mentioned, I'm going back to Pakistan, and we are raising a scholarship. I told Reverend Judy when she asked me how much honorarium, I said, I have no number. Whatever you give, it will go to the scholarship and not going to use for me or our personal use. So more than 70 students are gathering across from Peshawar till Karachi. We are gathering in the Murray Hills for 3 nights for a retreat. Then we are constructing, you can see that newsletter with you. We are underwent last year, we raised $30,000 US, by the way, and all has been poured out. And we have all these construction companies' rates and everything. Anybody want to have that, we can give you a copy. The official letters and official statements, everything by the construction company, not by us, who is constructing right now. So in this year, our target was to raise almost $52,000 more to finish the project, and we are still praying, may God open door. We know God worked mysteriously, and that is not a big number for God. Number 2, 3, international travel to Pakistan and Egypt. Next month after Pakistan, I will be in Egypt, Luxor, where I'm speaking to the Middle Eastern missionaries, those who are working in the Muslim context based on this model. Because this is tested, this has been approved in a field, and it could be applicable in any Muslim context. So they invited me to speak in Egypt with the missionaries over there. Then faculty, staff, and students in 4 branches, and then new initiative and publishing resources in 2024. This is VR. If you have any question, you're welcome. Otherwise, we can pray.
So, Eric, I'm just wondering, this is amazing to me that you have 170 students here learning how to lead music and worship.
Yes.
And do you fear for them in your context? I mean,
No. The reason is this, because they are coming from churches and for the churches. However, because they are engaging every day in their school, in their neighborhood, and in their workplaces with the Muslims. So their education and training in a Christian worship, in a Christian education, which that training is not offered in any seminary or any secular school. So that's what we are training them. I call them they are sleeping missionaries. How they, because I give you one example, it will surprise you again. In Pakistan, there are private school systems, there are various school systems. Even government, in the Sindh government, they have also included with the help of the French government for a project of bringing music education in a government school. Otherwise, in Pakistan, 70 to 80% private school systems, they are privately run. Now, 80 to 90% music teachers in that Muslim schools are Christians. They're Christians. Because I worked also for 10 years as a part-time as a music teacher in one of the Karachi's largest girls' high school. And I told them when they hired me, I said, so you hired me, because they were unaware that I am a pastor. And almost 15 years ago, I was more younger and slim. So I looked like a musician. So they hired me, and I asked them, why you hired me? Because I heard there are 3 more candidates before me. You know what the 3 ladies, senior, one Parsi in Karachi, and 2 other, they said, because you are a Christian. I said, why? What's the difference? The reason they said, this school is a girls' school from grade 1 till grade 10, with the girls' ages from 5 years till 16 years, 200 female staff, and we are experiencing first time a music teacher in this school, and we don't want to take a risk with a Muslim man.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah. That's why they hired a Christian. They trust. So the idea is, as I mentioned that's across the Pakistan. So mostly music teachers, they are Christians. And that's a huge force.
there can be one other reason also, because the Muslims, they have a lot of restrictions. Like they don't like to follow the music, and they have restrictions in playing the instruments.
Yeah, that's one another reason. However, in the Pakistan film and music industry, Shiites are the major musician and artists. So all major singer and artists, they are Shiites or Sufis. So that's another reason. Yes, you're correct. So that's why we need to engage them and prepare them. And this is just a beginning. Now we are pushing seminaries to start courses. That's why from last 20 years, from a zero music and Christian education, now there are dozens who graduated from our school, and now they have started. So this is how it's multiplying.
I have it's very important. It's something very good and something really very different what you people did when you went to the shrines and the Sufism. Now we have to, as Christians, we have to find it out. What's the reason why the Christians refrain from going to the shrines and Sufism?
Yes.
So it's there because they think that when we go to the shrines, actually we are following Islam. But if they know Sufism and they read it, it's not all of Islam.
Yes.
Sufism is basically a communication between you and the Almighty, the Divine.
Yes.
Which the Christians, actually, I don't know about America or any other place, but in Pakistan they miss that, the crux that they're not preaching Islam in shrines. They're not preaching anything about Muhammad or Allah. It's always the Divine.
It's just like a Pentecostalism of Islam.
Yes.
Anyway, so I hope that's it. Thank you very much for your time.